everyone, and welcome to the Brightworks. Now, I'm starting this recording a little bit late. Just saw that this game just started up, and I wanted to catch it. This is a free-for-all between, a couple different players. All some pretty high true skill players. Oh. Looks like they're just making sure that everyone's active. I can confirm. Let me let them know, actually. Everyone here. Everyone, go ahead. Well, I guess it gives me some time to explain. So this is a free-for-all on, I believe this map is called D-World. No, sorry, this is Meditrarium V1. 32-player FFA over a massive continent. And massive it is, indeed. You can see how just absolutely huge this map is. As well, all of these metal spots are 2, I believe. Yeah, so two per metal spot, which is really nice. Yeah, there we go. So you can see sort of the spawn locations here. Perhaps we're getting this sort of lower island down here. Mac starting to build out in this little radius over here. Looks like he's Armada. That'll be fun. Bruce kind of got this corner with this real mountainous terrain over here. This can be tricky because subs and other ships can move behind you when you don't even know it if you don't have a navy out. So it is actually, it doesn't seem like it, but you do need a navy, a strong navy, if you're going to play this position. Looks like, yeah, a lot of free-for-alls start with a lot of constructors because there's just so much area to claim. Kier. Looks like he's going to put up a lot of turrets. That's kind of a bad idea. You really want to fortify choke points, not so much just your whole mainland. That'll be a lot of metal that could be expanding and making your eco a lot bigger. An air start here for Kev McGels. Air is tricky to start on, although if you're ever going to start air, free-for-all is definitely the place to do it. That will be interesting, though. Maybe some early bombing. Looks like he's going to be scouting. That's of course really helpful. Prab's going for vehicle plan. He is Cortex. So we're going to be seeing some interesting Cortex vehicles coming out, I suppose. The Pounder, one of my favorites. Riot Tank shoots a big heavy ball that slows enemies down. Very interesting unit. Looks like he's going to be moving into a solar eco. Oh no, he is going with wind. Wind is very, very strong in this map, I guess I should say. 1 to 20. Wind risk is 14.9 though. So we are well above the threshold for both factions to use the wind, which is good to see. Scout units being sent out. Let's see what he can see. So far hasn't found any other enemies. Longer AFIS chains don't block area with other stuff. Unit limit, more nukes, get rid of T1 units. Interesting. Not sure what he's talking about. Exactly, but maybe like a new game mode he wants to try or something. Anyway. Let's see, Mac here. Getting some constructors out. He does have some tick scouts of his own. The ticks are good, but they can't cross any of these waterways, so they are going to be restricted to this main island. That's why a lot of people go vehicles on these free-for-all maps, because they can just reach more areas overall. Do have reclaim bots. Love to see that. There's a tremendous amount of energy present on the map, available to reclaim. You just have to get to it. Do you see some vehicles being pumped out here? What does Q look like? Builders, amphibious builders, light tanks. Quite a lot of construction, but that's really what you need because there's so much surface area to cover here. Just basically equipping a light tank to every builder that goes out. Light tank is basically just a guard against any roaming rovers. These guys, the rascals. What a cute little name. Ooh, I'm gonna take a big stretch. Nice and early in the morning for me. But I was super excited to see this game start up. We have some light unit aggression here coming out of green. Starting to move towards yellow. Might see your first conflict here. 2 little dots. They pass each other in the night. Well, they don't quite know that they're enemies yet. Oh, they might find out just now, and they know now. Yellow now well aware of green. Prab's well aware of Mac. Interesting that they found each other, because those are the two, as far as open skill goes anyway, those are the 2 highest ranked. Bruce, the 3rd. And Kev McGill's and Kier trailing in, well, tied for last place. But I guess that makes them both 2nd place, or maybe it makes them both last place, I don't know. Either way, Kev McGill's with a huge amount of laser turrets, so at the very least nothing is going to scout him from this direction. Bots can still come over this little hillway right here. And we are seeing, looks like Prabs is moving around, starting to scout out that area. You can see why so many builders is just absolutely necessary. You can see him sending these builders out. He's got an amphibious one sent out to go collect these water mechs. That's always a really good idea, because those are really hard to contest without going all the way into Navy. Here's one way to do it, is use your commander. That's a good idea. Always tricky moving your commander away in free-for-all, because of course if your commander dies, you lose. So, at the end of the day, this really is just a defend the commander game mode. This Scoutcraft getting a lot of value. Hasn't, well, let's see what he knows. He's found blue, so that's good. He's got kind of an interesting scout pattern all over the place here. Interesting to see. He does know where blue is, though, and he sees some of his units coming out. It's a full scout of the base. No anti-air there so far. Prabs also finds blue. Let's see what he knows. He has found red so far and pink. We did see him scouting pink, so that makes sense. Finds green. He actually found green earlier. I guess he hasn't seen those structures, though. He just found the what is it called? The units. Excuse me. Take a drink of water. Some ASMR for you. Cold and crisp. Nice big glass of ice water. Keep one of those at my desk at all times. Gotta stay hydrated here. It's been raining like crazy here. Haven't had a clear day in about 2 weeks, and suddenly today it's very windy and cold, but no rain. Looking out my window now. Looks very nice outside. We can transition out of player view. Sorry about that. Let's see. Already going up to T2, but not a bad idea. You're pretty much allowed to do that because you're not really getting into too many fights, and you can control so many mexes on your own that you can have the economy to do that really early on. And indeed, we can see that Mac already has 57, 58 metal per second. That's very nice. It's more economy than you have in some 8v8 maps. This blink, a little bit damaged by these pawns just tickling it, but not really doing too much damage. Here, a little bit slower, but also going T2. Doesn't have enough build power, though. Has 200 build power here, plus the 90 off the constructor, and the turret isn't even helping with that. So, yeah, definitely hasn't expanded as far out as he should. He really should be reaching out into this area, all the way down here, and also should be looking to kind of take this as well. Both of those areas would rightly be contested by him. But instead he procced a lot and porked a lot, porcupined up, basically made a bunch of turrets and defenses. Here for 7PL. Yeah, okay, so perhaps trying to encourage him a little bit. Interesting, he's putting these stealthy metal makers. Those are, I mean, they're good. They don't produce more metal, and they consume a lot more energy. They also cost a lot more. They cost 4 times as much. Little bit less, but almost exactly 4 times as much to build those. The benefit of it right now is not great. Like you're kind of well, seeing now this is going to get scouted by Prabs, and he's just going to look at it and say, "Oh, okay, you're building these stealthy ones. That's why I can't find any of your mexes. It's because they're all cloaked." It's a huge power drain early on, though. Yeah, you can see he's using up all his power available. Slowly starting to build up his T2 factory, about halfway done. But that doesn't mean a crazy amount because he might stall or run out of metal, whatever it is. This is interesting. Got a lot of bots working on windmill farms here. I wonder if he must have just had it rally to create a bunch of bots. Kind of an interesting setup he's got here, just putting pawns and anti-air all over the place. I don't hate that. I think that's a good idea. Here's some fighting. I don't see it though. Oh, must have been right here. So much to manage in this. Very, very, very APM intensive. Playing these games is incredibly stressful. That's why I was excited to see this game, is because commentating one of them while watching it is much, much more doable than actually playing in it while trying to commentate. I just absolutely couldn't. There's just too much to manage all at once. Kev Miguel's now moving out slightly from his islands here, kind of claiming some areas here and there. Can these build T1 in the water? They can. Okay, that's good. I don't know about the T2s, but definitely these T1. Excuse me. These T1 air constructors can claim some of those water mixes as well, which, like I said earlier, is kind of a nicety because they're sort of hard to contest. Looks like we have some shurikens out now from Prabzor. Also with the T2 vehicle factory, that's nice. Starting to get fighters, bombers, shurikens, whole mix of different things. Just throw it all in there. We'll use it. Very nice. Mac also starting to get a huge alignment of various units. Pumping out these T2 constructor bots, as well as these, these butlers. Oh, I must have eaten something. Got a lot of burpee today. That won't stop me. Bringing you the very best and beyond all reason content. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you like seeing more. We do have a very tiny little outpost here, but this construction turret finishes up, which means that this will all build a lot quicker. It's pretty nice. Looks like these gunships did take down a builder over here, though. So tit for tat. The fighter's going to come in, though. Warning Kier that he probably needs to take better care of his commander here. This very well could be Kier's first ever free-for-all game, which I don't hate whatsoever. I absolutely love seeing the new players in here. Even though sometimes their build orders are a little strange, that's alright, because eventually they're going to get better. The metas are going to change. People are going to learn. And ultimately, that's how the game is going to improve, right? People are going to figure out the interesting ways to play the game and how to make things that are more interesting, more complex. Wow, still a lot of units being pumped out here. Isn't even really using up all his metal though. Building up that mobile anti-nuke, that's always a good idea. Although I am curious what that costs relative to a regular anti-nuke. So a regular anti-nuke, you pay 1,500 and 40,000 energy. For the mobile anti-nuke, you pay, where is it? 12,500, 32,000. So it's a bit cheaper. Obviously the circle is a little smaller. Probably says on here the range. Cover range, 1,750. Where's the regular anti-nuke? Where is it? This one. I always have trouble distinguishing these two constructor vehicles. They look very similar to me. This cover range is 2,000, so almost a direct correlation to price to coverage range. But if you already have the T2 vehicle plan, there's really no reason not to just pump out a anti-nuke while you can. Especially the mobile ones, because you can just move them around wherever you need them, and you don't really need to protect everything with anti-nuke. You just really need to protect the critical areas like your economy and your things like that. Now Green starting to amass a rather large army, lot of these butlers here to make these huge wind farms, which is always a nice idea, although the wind is dropping right now, so he's going to be losing a ton of energy. Yeah, look at that, dropping all the way from like 3,000 to 2,000. Going even lower. Ooh, that hurts to see. Yeah, these guys are really good. They can throw up these wind turbines in like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, something like that. And you know, when you get 10 of them working on a big wind farm like that, they can really put those things up really quick. I would like to see these T1 constructors being kind of pulled back. That's one thing that bothers me, is like basically inefficient waste of constructor power. Not using them to build things or whatever. Not that it's really like a free-for-all. You kind of have so much resources, so many resources that you don't really want to. Yeah, you don't really want to. Or you don't need to worry about wasting resources. However, green with a huge economy, 239. It looks like it's just all in the mexes that he's got. He's already upgraded so many of them. How many advanced mechs here are there? Wow, every advanced mechs on the field is green. Or maybe it's just only showing me green. Either way, 30 advanced metal extract. Oh no, it's pulled some of those as well. Either way, at least 25, I'd say. And I remember these are 4 times as efficient than the regular metal extractors. So we're looking at one of these producing 8. So huge economy built up just on the metal extractors alone, which are incredibly efficient as far as metal production goes. We've got a huge slew of units being produced out of this T2 bot lab. Nice to see. Kind of like the routing here of the patrol points. I think that's kind of cool. Always just satisfying to see that. You know, you kind of have this huge map and all these units. You might as well do something cool with them, have them route all around. But it also means that you're sort of rotationally covered in all directions. We've got quite a defense set up over here. I wonder if he plans to build like a naval base in this corner or something. That's why he's setting up all those torpedo launchers. Usually a little bit better to spread them out, because the big gunships do AoE damage. So if they hit one of these, they're going to hit the 2 next to it. So it's slightly more efficient to just put 2 or 3 gaps, 2 or 3 spaces between each of these. But you know, that's such a little detail, and you kind of, I mean, you can put this down like with the drag of a button. You can see I've already spaced these out for my own gameplay. I have them spaced out this far to cover wide areas. So if I need to cover like a whole ocean, then this will be plenty. Basically, so that there's 2 torpedo launchers covering the middle torpedo launcher. That's kind of how I space those out, if anybody's curious about that. Slowly building up these armies, though. Haven't been any huge clashes, but I guess we're seeing a lot of eco being built up. Although not as quickly as I would imagine. Like, we certainly could have a lot more thrown into building economy here. I guess this is nice. He's got the build power now. 2 APHIS. It's plenty to start building up some of your economy, and also some of these T2 units. It's good 2,000 wind, or 2,000 energy. Sorry, there's a third one right here. I don't know how I missed that. Just distracted by these 2. I love these yellow, the yellow APHIS from the yellow player. Kind of reminds me of the Spider-Man 2. Was it 2? The one with Doc Ock, where he's like trying to build a portable sun, a nuclear sun, like a fission reactor, or fusion reactor, whatever it is, contained in a big magnetic sphere. That's what this reminds me of. I think these fusion reactors look pretty cool for the Cortex. The Armada ones are cool too, but I think they're not really like sci-fi. They kind of look real, which is fine. You know, the realism is cool, but not exactly what I'm looking for. You can really throw up these fusion reactors pretty quick, though. What's he gonna do here? It looks like we're doing a fusion and then 2 advanced fusion. which also look really cool. Love the kind of containment archway, whatever it is, the triangular containment thing on the top of this. I also love the building animation of this here. See like the framework of it all being built up. I love these wires here. You know, that's one of the things about this game is every one of these buildings is like super detailed, really pristine detail. Even the units too. You get up real close and look at them. Oh, see, I never knew that they deployed a little construction thing beneath them. That's really cool. Yeah, you can really get up close and look at these guys, and they actually have a ton of detail. But then you zoom out to the top level, and it's a lot more just symbols to track. But it is real. Oh, sorry, way too close to the mic there. Trying to lean in. It is really impressive. Just the sheer scale of units and whatnot that you can throw up in this game. We do have some Titans coming out. Looks like we're going straight to T3 before even starting a fight. That does not bode well for anyone else. We don't have the defenses for a T3 unit from anyone. Even Prabzor hasn't really built the defenses for that. He's got the factories to build the units for it, but he doesn't have the units yet. I guess he's got some defenses over here, the Sabo turrets. Mac doing a little dance. Look at that. Shaking his robot behind. You can see in the mini-map the... oh, kind of zipped around there. Give myself whiplash. You can see the kind of possession radius of this whole map. I wonder if I can draw on this. No, I can't. Okay, well, that's fine. You can also do this, but I don't like this perspective. For some reason, this gives me the chills or something. Gives me vertigo. Air repair pads. You don't see these very often. They're kind of a weird one. They do repair aircraft extremely quickly, but there's not really an aircraft with any amount of survivability, with one exception, and I'll get to that in a second. But there's not really any aircraft with any survivability that it's even possible to like pull it away from the enemy after it's been damaged. You know what I mean? Like most aircraft will be just blown up, you know, by 100 rockets, way overkill. There's no chance that it's gonna come back. The exception, however, being the Cortex Sky Dragon, which does have a ton of health and potentially can be repaired, can be saved. Look for some flagships here. Don't hate that. How's the metal looking? Not great. We are draining it finally. We have these APHIS up and running, but we're using it to build so many... Oh, speaking of Sky Dragons, there's one right there. We're building so many units that we're not really even generating any metal. Well, I guess I spoke too soon. Building a nuclear launcher. Does anybody have nuke coverage? Looks like Mac thought ahead. Mac made some anti-nuke. Basically, everybody else is uncovered. I wonder who he's going to go for. Mac is the obvious threat here. Yeah, very strong player, clearly. But at the same time, you know, that also means he's going to be the hardest to kill. So it'd be worth it if you could kill him. Certainly, you'd be at a huge advantage. But also, you know, the odds of that are not great. Getting these SAM towers up is always nice. They have a really huge effective radius, so they can sort of slowly pick away at a air wall like this one here. Building these mobile anti-nuke, putting them up on these hills. It's actually kind of a nice place for them. Put them up on the mountains so that they can't be sniped. Wow, Prab's all the way in between these two, sort of forming a wall, but no defenses. What did he build here? His light mines? They are. So those are just in case there's any big groups of light enemies. Oh, these Titans are moving down though. Prab will scout these as they approach this radar here. three brothers. Get close up to these guys. Yeah, look at those bad boys go. Very, very thick boys. Very chunky. Big square bodies. Crab's looking at that and thinking, oh crap. Better start making units. I wonder where though. He's got a whole lot of unit facilities, but not a whole lot of units. I guess these Sky Dragons are his plan. How many of these is he up to now? 5? It's not really enough to burn down one of these Titans. They can take a hit, and they can also hit air with their little hand mitten blasters. So very, very difficult to take those things down. But Sky Dragons are a pretty good option. We're up to 5 Titans, so even amount of Titans to Sky Dragons. Is that what you can call them? Oh, they're just called dragons. I don't know why I'm calling them Sky Dragons. Just because they float through the sky. Oh, so this guy is going for just a crazy amount of T2 Mausers. Mausers are great. They're an amazing siege weapon, but they're vastly outclassed by a lot of the, well, basically any T3 unit outclasses a T2 unit, but they're gonna be outclassed by a lot of the flying units that are available, as well as a lot of the fast lighter units that are basically just gonna be able to run past them. Fiends, pawns, grunts, any of that sort of T1 trash. Crisp and refreshing. Necessary for casting these ultra long games because they can go the distance, and especially ones like these, not very, not a lot of sparks flying here. Nobody wants to make the first move. In a 3v3, that's absolutely true. If you start fighting with somebody and you don't win, like almost immediately, you lose more than you gain almost always. Because when you kill the enemy commander, all their structures and everything blow up. So basically their whole territory becomes available to claim. But that means that your enemies also can expand their fronts because they're probably rubbing up against that enemy as well. And you basically give them a bunch of territory. And really the one benefit you get out of it is an extra commander, which is good, but not, tremendous. Do have some capital ships being built down here. Looks like 2 is the number. Or you just put a weight command on it. Wow, look at that. 3 Black Hydra, 5 battle subs, and a whole host of other ships. I would love to know how his hotkeys are managed, because I, for one, struggle to manage these armies. Long-range battle submarines. Advanced torpedoes. Wow, 1,650 damage. That's actually a ton of damage. What does the other submarine do? DPS of 159. What's this DPS? 206. Huh. I'm not quite sure the difference, like, strategically. Just starting to shell this guy. Not really doing much damage, just sort of scaring him off, I guess. Whoa. Huge bombing attack here. Maybe? Not really. He sent the bombers in, but he didn't do anything with them. Could have easily killed all that eco there. I have no idea what went wrong there. What? Why is this? There we go. I got a mix. Not really inspiring. That attack. Not very efficient. He is building a naval base. Okay, so I was right about that. Wow, what a pretty defense line. Looks really cool. How good it will be, we'll have to see. Throwing up these anti-air turrets all over the place, because you just know that your enemy can produce so much air at once that you have to overkill. Overkill isn't even overkill when your enemy is overkilling their units. Gosh, does that make sense? I feel like that sentence made sense. Kier, what are you building here? Looks like we've got a lot of bombers. Maybe? How many bombers is that actually? Never mind, we've got 5 bombers. 6 bombers. 7 bombers. We've got some T1 bombers coming up, as well as some fighters, which would be tremendous if Red hadn't attacked Blue already and triggered a huge anti-air response from him. Not to undetermined Blue, though. Looks like he's sending in the fighters once again. This guard range of SAM turrets. What are these called? Mercuries? Long-range anti-air turrets. They're gonna start sending out their missiles and taking down a bunch of these fighters. Oh, interesting. Using the nuclear bombers and some light T1 units is kind of a weird choice, but also not terrible. I mean, it does get rid of them really quickly. Sort of one hit to kill them all kind of deal. The flagship is moving over, though. Looks like that's Bruce's plan for taking out Red. I'm just going to use the flagship to sort of lay siege. Not a bad idea. Not a bad plan. This is quite a fortress being built up over here. Here's the laser turret going off. Looks like it's targeting these torpedo launchers over here. Oh, maybe not. What's the range on that? Oh, we can definitely see him. Is this an incline? I feel like it should be able to fire at those. Ah, return fire. That's why. It's been told not to fire on those until fired upon. Understandable. I guess you don't want your enemy to know exactly what your defenses are. Which are very huge right here. Looks like quite a defensive wall being built. I bet these pop-up turrets can see over these walls. They must be. I'd imagine they're designed that way intentionally. Otherwise, why would they be pop-up turrets, right? It kind of doesn't make sense. Let's see. Ultimately, I think this is going to come down to a fatal clash between probably the 3 superpowers being Probs, Mac, and Bruce. Bruce electing not to send in the flagship after all. Maybe waiting for a second one, or just not sure. Yeah, actually, I don't know what his plan is, but just waiting for the time being anyway. This guy is unaware of the fact that these are, excuse me, these mexes are not available to him. Could throw up a torpedo launcher, clear all of them out. The advanced torpedo launcher actually a really powerful defensive structure. Devastator's pretty good too. The Black Hydra. These ships look so cool. We got, wow, 5 of them out now. Certainly enough to really do some damage. We're just producing a infinite amount of Finches right now. What a bizarre effect. Looks really cool. A little bit of a battle going on. Looks like gunships taking out some of the construction vehicles. So that's funny. He built the mechs over his other mechs, and it ended up stealing the spot from Red. Sharing metal spots. That's funny. Battle going on? Oh, interesting. This area is being sieged by a capital ship. The pawn stands strong. Yeah, I don't think that capital ship was trying to siege that. I think that was just a consequence of it being rallied. Or rather, just where it spawned, I guess. Ready to see some action, though. Wonder who's going to be the first to initiate. Quite a plan for advanced fusions there. Someone's being attacked over here. Oh, I see. There's pop-up plasma turrets being built all over the place over here. I wonder why these are all rallied on this one construction bot. All these scout planes being sent all over the place. Interesting scouting pattern. Sending the submarine in. Is it gonna get a hit? Just barely ducked underwater in time. That was close. It's gonna try and attack some of these Titans, maybe? Can't see them yet. But I guess just having it in that spot is kind of nice. These other ones moving in as well. These might take some damage because it'll fire at the first one, and then the other ones will move into the beam. Yep, 2 down. Let's see if they can get this third set. Yeah, all 3 of them go down. He's not sure why, but he is sending in the big guns. Oh, I missed it. Fired. Wow, did that do all its damage on its own? Well, it's gone now. 2.5% per shot. That is not bad at all. The subs can be really menacing. Looks like the Black Hydra studying their assault. Guess it was well done to prepare a bunch of plasma shields right here. It's actually exactly what he needed. I wouldn't have thought to have done that. I'm not sure. I mean, the Black Hydras are going to be able to punch through one of these shields, but I don't know how many of the others are going to be able to punch through. I guess that is 6 of them. Yeah. 7 now? 8. Oh, I didn't see this one over here. We're finally seeing a clash of sorts. Just trying to punch through these shields. What a menacing hail of fire. Some of them are sneaking through. Oh, and the constructors go down. Crazy amount of fire to be able to just punch through the shields all the way. And actually getting a lot of damage done on them too. Some of the tachyons go down. There's 2 of the plasma generators down. This last one's not going to last long either. And it's down. The position is broken. Looks like his own navy is starting to move in. got a lot of Corsairs. These are cruisers. Oh, they're destroyers. These are T1 destroyers. They're not going to last very long. Not against Black Hydras. Black Hydra's weapon array is anti-air launcher. It's got a ship cannon and a bunch of lasers. There you can see them taking down those airplanes. And just absolutely devastating these Titans. So much free damage on them. I mean, the Titans aren't like low health anymore, but they are. They're certainly. I mean, you know, they're taking free damage, so any one hit that's free is worth it. It's like a little less than 1% per hit from one of those plasma shots. But with 8 ships, you can pump out, you know, 15 shots a second. Really melt these things down. That being said, a lot of these shots don't land, which is sort of a bummer. The first major conflict. Looks like we're starting to move in here as well. All those T1s devastated by that single birdshot, whatever it's called. We do have the nuclear bombers sort of harassing this area. And, well, that spot is good and dead, I'll tell you that much. This is a good use for the area attack. You just hit A and then you drag. You left click and drag. Looks like a infinite wall of tier 1 dolphins are being sent out. What's the economy like for him? Oh Jesus, 1,000, nearly 2,000 metal per second coming out of this huge generator here. Yeah, look at that. Tasty target for sure if you can manage to get something over there, but how in the world you do that is beyond me. Flagships up here moving in. They smelled a fight and wanted in on the action. Everyone's finally ready. I'm not sure how well this wall would stand up. I really am curious how good that is. This flagship's not getting a break. Well, it looks like a lot of them can't really work properly because they're all they're being bunched up so much. Sky Dragon is on the repair platform, but it's not getting repaired. I wonder what that is. Wonder how many Titans we're producing a second here. It's got hundreds of them queued up. What are we at here? Every 20 seconds or so, a little less. Every 18 seconds, we're spitting out a new Titan. It's like the same speed that you produce pawns without any build power at the start of the game. These Titans goes down. I think at this point he's just trying to like see what's over here. And all he sees is death and destruction. These destroyers walk into the line of fire. Brutal devastation. They don't get very much done at all. Sort of scratching the paint on the first one. He's like, actually, you know, more than a scratch. Looks like they're putting a pretty big dent on it. Will they get it though? No, they do. I'll be damned. They do actually manage to sink a single Black Hydra, which is enough to convince them to retreat. Some catapults over here are starting to tear down this defense. Not a bad idea at all. These rocket bots really devastating. Looks like we don't have jamming over here, so these are gonna be able to see everything that they're shooting at. The Titans are marching. Look at this cannon fire though. So many plasma shots. The sky dragons are moving in. The dragons, sorry. I'm not sure why I keep saying that. Sending in the nukes. I guess just clearing out some of that T1 fodder. Not a bad idea. Dragons plus the Black Hydra, that's going to be plenty to knock down these Titans. Bring them to their knees. Highwind's coming in, trying to do some damage. Really hard to break through that air wall, though. It's just such a thick air screen. Shiva's being produced. That's always nice. It's a great siege option. Oh, and I totally missed it. Red has been red has been wiped off the map by Blue's capital ships. It looks like. Yeah, what a brutal game. A war of a scale that you couldn't even imagine happening on the other side of the map. You're just crammed onto your little island. Quite a battle here. All these Epochs versus these Black Hydras. Now the Epochs do win this fight, this sort of long-range plasma fight, because their plasma guns, they have twice as many plasma guns as the Black Hydras do. So they can actually utilize their range a lot better here. They're just firing it nowhere though now, so. They're not going to win if they're just shooting at the water, unfortunately. I guess I'm sort of subconsciously rooting for the Armada here. For some reason, I just feel like they're the good guys. Juggernaut pushed out here. Maybe I'm just rooting for the underdog, because Prab has such a huge defense. These Tachyons putting in some work. Bulldogs as well. Probably going to be able to melt this guy down eventually. But that's all the defense, basically blown up by the Juggernaut itself. Like I said, catapult's still very deadly. These submarines, when they cross these breaches right here, sort of these what is it called? I guess the shallower areas. They're a little more exposed out of the water. They can get attacked. There's a little bit of an attack happening over here. Blue sort of emboldening. Pink also has been biding his time and moving his resources over here, but now just sitting in the field of fire for this single geothermal battery. And indeed, wow, they really tore through all those guys. And it's all wiped away with a nuke. That's pretty funny. That's one way to ask for peace. Demand it. Resurrection bots coming in here, trying to piece together these Titans, send them back towards Mac. I don't know if it'll be enough though. Mac can spit out one of those every 17 seconds. Probably faster now even. What are we looking at here? We'll check it as soon as this Titan walks off. Building Titans like pawns. 19 seconds. Okay. So yeah, 19 seconds every 19 seconds building a Titan. It's pretty respectable. Oh, somehow a Karganeth has come on over here. I guess Kier upsetting Prabzor with his decline of peace, and so he decided to whisk him away with his special ops troops. Looks like he's not going to get it though. Those Tachyons burned him down. It's not to say that he couldn't build a few more of those and send them over there. His T3 gantry not even doing anything at the moment. I wonder where those Shivas ended up at. Here they are. Looks like they're mostly just going to hold this line here. Pretty good use of resources there. Kind of got this big open section up here in the top of the map, just all over here. Whoa, kind of went over cursor came from there. That whole area is kind of open and exposed. So many anti-nuke here. I guess just hoping that he doesn't get burned down by, 100 nukes. It's interesting. Death Cavalry perpetually keeping this ship alive. Somehow it won't die. I don't hate that, actually. That's kind of a solid way to defend. It's a little unorthodox, I guess, but not a bad idea. Excuse me. I'm a little confused what's going on here. Looks like these tachyon turrets are charged with taking down some light scout spam, which is definitely not their specialty. They way overkill these spam units. Look at this guy. Oh no, don't shoot him. No. Huge aerial attack right here. I wonder why he sent all those fighters in. I guess he's bringing in these gunships. What do we have here? 95 gunships. Oh, that's a lot. This is a tremendous amount of anti-air, though, and I think it's a little bit of AoE on it, too, so we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys going down really quickly. And they move past. Interesting. Oh, no. Will be attacking. Okay. I put in quite some damage. Taking quite some damage, too, though. Hard to say if this is effective or not. This battle is so large. Certainly a lot of these flagships are low in health now, though. Down to 22. Bruised at least a lot of those ships, which is great. Dragon Slayer. Looks like tons of these resurrection submarines coming out here now. Titan's pushing through as well. These Shivas are actually having a hard time over here. Nuke does land. Chips off, well, hard to say exactly. I'm not exactly sure how fresh these were. I'm going to assume they were new. Say it chipped off maybe 20%. Less than that, 18%. We'll say 20% on the best of them. Yeah, this is the real problem. These Titans can really kind of spread out and go wherever. These flagships are sort of a concentrated force and they're busy. Shiva now just taking quite a beating. Got a nuke coming out. He's gonna nuke these. Yeah, looks like he's gonna nuke the Shiva. Oh, no, he's nuking the Shiva. He nuked over there for some reason. Killed a single metal extractor. But he did create a nice little pond, I guess. So that's nice. That was an interesting decision. This is a problem, certainly. These Titans are pushing deeper and deeper, and there's not really a great answer for them. Let's just see what happens. I guess the Shiva are what he's hoping on, or counting on. Shiva do a lot of damage, like basically a percent per shot. Maybe a little more than that. Impulse bombers, that's a good idea. Those can do a lot of damage to those. The Titans will go down. So they do a burst of 1,665. I think that's per bomb, so those actually can do quite a lot of damage. So, hailstorms. I think they're called Tempests for Armada. Looks like he did try and nuke over here, but it was intercepted by an anti-nuke. Very well done. Titans chilling in the glow of a nuclear explosion, having a grand old time. Kind of hard to determine how this fight is going, but I feel like Mac really has the advantage here. He's broken free of this sort of choke point here, and I guess he's going to be using these resurrection subs to bring back all these capital ships, meaning that he's going to have a really nice time moving forward. Except this area has been given up here. This little strait. We don't need that. It's like more nukes being fired all over the place. Dragons working on these Titans. Titans just AFK. Not great. These Titans really could have pushed through here probably. Gotten a nice hit of eco. Not all of it, but certainly enough of it to cause pain. And the Titan's still alive. Sabo battery putting in some work too. Yeah, no hit bar. No health bar for a second there. Boys need WC. Not sure what WC means, but I guess he's gonna be gone. Asking that they don't kill him in the 30 seconds that he's gone. Don't think it'll be a problem. I think they're well enough distracted with the battle going on down here. Just one anti-air putting in a ton of work. What a fleet of fighters. What are we even producing at this point? Or are we at the max units now? We might be at the max unit count. Yeah, he's not producing anything. All this wind has been destroyed. Or eaten. I don't know. One way or another it's been removed. Tons of eco right here, though. This is not even that hard, that heavily defended. A simple push from blue could really devastate green. That's about half of his economy. I mean, it still leaves him with like nearly 1,000 metal per second. Still, that's, you know, half as many Titans and capital ships and everything else. Not sure how, but something went down over here. Blow up a big chunk of... It looks like these were construction turrets? Nano turrets? Something or another. Yeah, these capital ships could sail down this river and they could pack a huge punch, blow through these plasma shields and blow up all this eco over here. If blue started pushing, blue started playing this game, green would have a really hard time. But right now, as it is, green's full weight is just leaning on yellow. Mac versus Prab. This is absolutely devastating. Sending in all these gunships. They're gonna die quick, but they don't need to last very long. They just need to hit something. Indeed they do. Ooh, they get the Aphus. And that is perhaps down to 3 advanced fusions. Not looking great. Caving under all the weight. Hard to stand up to this kind of contest, though. Trying to solve his problem diplomatically. Bruce, are you doing something? Bruce says, hell no. I'm not gonna mess with green. He doesn't have a Thor here. This Thor could easily walk through to this eco. I mean, he could get Titans up here eventually, but I don't think they could stop it in time. Looks like Prabs is about ready to tap out. I don't blame him. He's been reduced to very little. Gather his Shivas and see what he can do. Now we can see all these capital ships moving upwards. Yeah, I think Mac has ran away with this game. It really does come down to the eco and who can just build more T3 stuff all at once. Now it's just a matter of tracking down these last bastions of civilization. Like how much eco? That's a good question. 25k, yeah. That's pretty astonishing. Perhaps must have been up pretty high, maybe 1,000. Just not enough. I think if he had started working on Juggernauts, he might have had a chance. Bruce, how's it going? Bruce, not really building much. Just the long-range battle submarines for Armada. Stealthy. That's a lot of damage. I don't know, to be honest. 10 Titans in a base for Mac. What was that? It's weird. Not sure what that was. Yeah, Bruce has lost his opportunity now. The Titans are already up north. He's just relying on the intel to come to him. He's not even gonna bother asking or bother scouting. Now the time has passed. Bruce actually had a really good chance there, but just couldn't make it, unfortunately. Couldn't figure it out. That's sad to see, because unfortunately Prabs did die because Bruce didn't act. But also, I mean, it's a free-for-all, so, you know, Bruce was only acting in his own self-interest. He knew that if he attacked and didn't win, which, how could he have known if he would win? You know, there'd be a huge retaliation, and what would happen, you know? Mac just running away with the eco at this point, which is really the best you can do. Prabs down and out, but he didn't get to see the what you call it, I guess the opportunity that Bruce had. This huge fighter wall here. Taps GG. Understandable. I think that was 3% on that battle sub. So yeah, those are actually a great option for dealing with these guys. Considering you can make, let's see, 1800 versus 100 or 1700. You can make, let's call it 2000 to make the math easier. You can make almost 7 or 8 battle subs, something like that. Up to Kier now. The last Bastion. Still on T2. Actually, he's rolling out of Thor. He's got one already. Everyone calls it a waste of time. You know, that's really common after these big battles, because it does feel like a waste of time to play any longer. But that being said, you know, you're this last guy, and you want to see it out to the end. Wow, what a fountain of destroyed fighters right there. Ooh, and a nuclear bomber comes in. Perfect snipe, very clean. WTF eco indeed. I hope you enjoyed. I know this was a very long video, quite a long free-for-all, very eco-heavy, very late game, but really interesting to see these guys do it. And wow, what a stunning eco! I mean, up to over 2,500 at the end there. Quite a battle. Thanks to all the players for playing in this, and thanks to you for watching. See you next time.